My name's Derek Owens. I was born with a bicuspid aortic valve, which eventually led to multiple open heart surgeries, and this is my story.
Within a few hours of being born, Derek was diagnosed with a heart valve defect. At that time, doctors explained that the condition would only get worse. But 2 years later, miraculously, Derek's condition had improved and surgery would be delayed for the foreseeable future. While Derek growing up playing the game he loves, doctors closely monitored him with annual checkups.
And so growing up as a kid, my parents never told me I had a heart condition. Every 2 years, I would go in to the hospital about a week before school would start, and I would do all these checkups for my heart. And my parents told me that's just something that every kid has to do before school started. And so for me, it was no big deal. I didn't know a difference. My parents just let me lead a normal life. They didn't want me to stay away from doing other physical activities. They tried to shy me away from certain sports such as football, even basketball, but I was just always drawn to the game of basketball. So it wasn't until I was about 15 years old, I was playing in a 3-on-3 tournament. I got hit hard in the chest and I was having a lot of trouble breathing. And that's when my parents told me about my condition, and we started after taking things a little more seriously. Here I was, 16 years old, just about to start my junior season of basketball at McClintock High School. And for a couple weeks, I was having really bad chest pain, and I would do push-ups and it would hurt. I would try to run and I would be short of breath. And this went on for several weeks. And so finally I told my parents, I think something's wrong. And so we went in, we got a checkup, and they told me that, no, nothing's changed. You're still good to go for now. And the symptoms continued, and I thought it was really odd. So we had been in contact with this surgeon in California, and so we sent him the records from that test where they told me everything was good. And my surgeon got the records, and he looked over them and then called my parents and let them know what was going on. And so I was unaware of what was happening. I was at school one day and I got a text from my parents and they said, hey, we're in the parking lot, we're gonna meet you after school, we're here to pick you up. So after school, I walked to my parents' car. Both of them were in the car, which I thought was strange because that's never happened. And then I told my mom, hey, let me just go run tell my coach that I won't be there today. And my mom said, no, you don't need to do that. We've already talked to him. And right then I knew something was wrong. My parents told me that my surgeon, Dr. Racy from California, had called and said that I need to be in California as soon as possible to have open heart surgery. Yeah, 2 weeks later, I was on a plane flying to California for my first open heart surgery at age 16. So on top of having a bicuspid aortic valve, I also had an aortic aneurysm, which is basically my aorta was starting to slowly enlarge. It's kind of like a balloon when it's being blown with air. It's slowly getting bigger and bigger until it pops. And so that was the real risk, was that my aorta would fill up with too much blood and that my aorta would just pop, and in a matter of minutes I'd be dead. So what they did during surgery was they replaced my bicuspid aortic valve with a bovine valve, which is cow tissue. And so what they had to do that, to operate on the heart is a beating object, so you can't cut into it while it's beating. So what they have to do is they have to basically induce hypothermia.
They lowered his body temperature to, I think it was like 57 degrees, stopped all circulation, all activity of everything, cut out the aneurysm part. So it's not a bypass machine like a typical, heart type surgery. There was nothing for about 15 minutes in there.
Besides cutting out the aneurysm, a defective aortic valve was replaced. And once the procedure was complete, it was time to begin the long road to recovery and hopefully hit the hardwood once again.
I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't get out of bed on my own. I couldn't go to the bathroom on my own. I couldn't dress myself to walk. I had to have someone walk with me. So the 4 days in the hospital were 4 of the worst days of my life. So as soon as I got home, I wanted to start physical therapy as soon as possible, because for me, my biggest dream in life was to play college basketball, and I wanted to get back to playing basketball as soon as I could. The first time that I was able to jog, it was just like extreme joy, extreme bliss. So yeah, my main focus at this point was getting back to basketball. I didn't care what my health situation was. I was determined to play.
Derek's open heart procedure was in October of 2007. He missed his junior year because of the surgery. His parents have gone back and have petitioned the Arizona Interscholastic Association, the AIA, for a 5th year of high school basketball eligibility for their son.
It's miraculous. I mean, really, truly, that he's able to play at this level, this competitive level of basketball, and having gone through what he went through, that type of a surgery. I don't think, many people, would think that that's possible.
After several months of working extremely hard, I finally got to the point where I was cleared and was able to play basketball again at full speed.
Here's White, skip it over to Owens. Thinks about a three, dribbles inside, forces his shot, floater is good.
So going into my senior season, we had extremely high hopes for our team. We all got along super well. We had a ton of fun together, and we just really believed in each other, and we really thought that we were going to go all the way to the end. And I was named team captain by my teammates, which was a really great honor. I led the state in assists that year, and eventually we made it to the playoffs on a 20-2 record. We secured the number 2 spot in state. We had a lot of buzz around our team, and it was a really exciting time for all of us, and it just felt like everything that I had been working for, it wasn't all for nothing. That all those years of trying to overcome the heart surgery and the doctors telling me that I can't ever play again, and to be able to be the number two seed in the state going into playoffs, I felt like everything was just coming together perfectly, and that we were set to make noise in the playoffs and hopefully win a state championship.
Over to Owens for three. Got it! 3 ball for Owens.
So we advanced to the state championship game, and we had finally made it to the game that we'd been waiting for. For our state championship game, we played against Sunny Slope, who had won the state championship the year before. So they were the favorites to win again. They were the number 1 seed. Everybody kind of expected them to win. They had a kid on the team named Royce Woolridge who was going to Kansas. Parents in the stands for the other team already had shirts on that said back-to-back state champions. I don't think many people thought we were gonna win, nor did many people want us to win.
And Forte to jump center, and we are underway as the tap controlled by McClintock. Sit back, relax, and enjoy some high school basketball here on Championship Saturday.
So there's about 2 minutes left in the state championship game. It was a close game all the way through, but at this point we had gone up by about 10 points, and it started to feel pretty real that we were gonna win this thing. And they began fouling us, and we just weren't hitting our free throws, and they ended up catching up, tying the game with 20 seconds left. We had the ball.
Kurt Foreman ties it up at 71.
Everyone's up on their feet. My heart's pounding through my chest. I pass the ball to Cameron. He drives to the hoop, misses a shot with about 10 seconds left in the game, and the rebound was just kind of a cluster. Everybody was under the hoop. I just stood, I remember standing near half court just watching, ready to get back on defense after the missed shot. Next thing you know, it rolls through, I think, one of our players' legs.
Forte misses the layup, the putback up off the window, no by Gooden. Ball battled inside, here's Elam. Yes, we're tied, seconds to go.
My teammate Taryn picks it up, makes the layup. There was 4 seconds left on the clock. So now we were up by 2, 4 seconds left in the state championship game. They call a timeout. We're super excited, we're about to win, and also super nervous at the same time.
Inbounding is Kendall to Winnering.
So we come out of the timeout, they pass the ball in bounds, and they never end up even getting a shot off.
With 1, underneath, not in time. McClintock, 2010, 4A Division I state champs.
So we immediately, everyone ran to our bench and just jumped on each other, and we had a huge dog pile, and everybody was hugging each other, and it was just kind of a wild time on the floor, and we couldn't believe that we won. We were just extremely happy in that moment, and we spent the next, several hours cutting down the net, getting our championship trophy. We went back into the locker room. Everybody was just jumping on each other in the locker room. We're taking a bunch of pictures. We just started talking about all the stories throughout the season, all the stuff that led up to us winning, and just kind of reminiscing, and just extremely joyed. Some of those guys, I still talk to this day. It's a bond that never goes away, and those guys I consider family. And if it wasn't for me coming back that extra year, I wouldn't have all those memories. I wouldn't have a state championship. Who knows where I'd be as far as playing college basketball. It was just such a critical moment in my life, and I really believe all that happened has led me to where I am today. And if I had listened to those doctors tell me that I would never be able to play sports again, never be able to play basketball again, who knows where I'd be.